It's another Monday, so you know what that means. It's time for the Other Side podcast. I am the host, Janelle Villiers. I'm happy to be with you all. And I wanted to talk today with you guys about another aspect that I am really into. So if you're anything like me, you're really into like the science behind things, right? I'm a little bit of a nerd. And so last time we were together, we were talking about the other side of self-acceptance, right? And that it's a choice. So self-acceptance is a choice. And so for me, what's really important for us to talk about is the science behind that. I really wanted for us to get to the science. Like, why is it a choice? I think a lot of people think it's a feeling that we should have. Like, I just feel like I accept myself, right? Like, that's the way it should be. But the truth of the matter is, a lot of times it's not a feeling. And that's why I was focusing on the fact that self-acceptance is a choice. It has to be a choice before it's a feeling, right? You have to choose to accept yourself, and you have to choose it moment by moment, sometimes lots of moments during the day, and then eventually becomes a feeling. Why is that? What is the science behind that? So if you're anything like me, you're really excited about this because you probably find this stuff fascinating. So here's the science behind why you have to choose to accept yourself. The lower part of your brain, that amygdala, some call it like the caveman brain, right? Like it is basically trying to keep you safe, right? And it's trying to make sure that you like fit in and all of those different things. And so it's the feeling. It's the thing that's telling you, I don't feel like I accept myself, right? And so what's important to understand is that it's the cortex, it's the front part of your brain that makes the decision to choose yourself. And so what happens is when we're stuck in shame-based thinking, the amygdala, right, that lower part of your brain kicks in. That caveman part of your brain, caveman, cavewoman, kicks in. And it's like, but I only feel this. I feel frightened. I feel like I don't fit in. I feel like I should be alone and isolated. I feel all these things, typically not in the zone of getting you to the other side of like a healthy way of viewing yourself. Mm-hmm. So you have to override that amygdala. You have to literally override the fear that you're having, that thought that you're not enough, the thought that like all these different things about you are not good enough with your cortex. So that's why you have to choose, right? Because it's not going to be a feeling. You have to choose it first, because literally when you're in shame-based thinking, your amygdala is what has control. So you got to push your cortex into control, choose to accept yourself. And you have to do it over and over and over again. It's a practice, right? Similar to yoga. I love how in yoga they say it's a practice. It's not like you do it one time and then you're done. You're never really perfect at it, right? So it's a practice. So you continue to practice choosing to accept yourself until finally it feels that way. It feels like you are accepting of yourself. So that is the science behind it. Isn't it amazing that, like, I don't know, for me, it's a little bit of like, well, I'm not like completely on the hook. Like, I'm not crazy that like there is something in my brain that's not accepting myself, and recognizing that it's the amygdala. It's this part of my brain that's literally overriding all the other thoughts, and recognizing that there's a way in which to override the amygdala, right? To me, that was a bit freeing. It was a bit freeing to understand the science behind it and know that, one, I'm human. This is like what we all go through. Two, there is a way to get around it. And three, it's a practice. For me, that was probably the most helpful thing. And those are the three most helpful things in recognizing the science behind choosing to accept yourself. I hope this helps somebody out there. I can't wait to be with you guys again next week for another episode of the Other Side podcast. Until then, have a great night.